The topic of dodging and burning comes up all the time, and I've seen so many different whiz-bang fancy ways of lightening and darkening images that I just have to ask myself, why make it more difficult than it needs to be? I've got two methods that I use all the time, and they are fantastic, and I think that you're going to enjoy the simplicity in them. You can find dodge and burn tools right in the toolbox, and frankly, they're pretty simple enough to use. Select the appropriate tool, burn to darken, and dodge to lighten, and paint away. Without any further instruction, you'll probably see some pretty decent results. There are, however, a couple of things to take note of. Right out of the box, the dodge and burn tools are destructive, meaning they alter the information that makes up your image. Applied directly, there's no turning back if you later decide that you don't like the results. Accordingly, I advise that you work on a duplicate of the image or a layer that you wish to enhance. It's worth mentioning that the dodge and burn tools get a pretty bad rap for their dark past. No pun intended, by the way, and in fact, for years it was almost taboo to even suggest using them. In versions prior to CS5, they had a tendency of clipping the highlights and shadows and shifting colors. Today, as I said, they do a pretty darn good job thanks to the overhaul of the algorithm to prevent overly bright or dark results. Additionally, the Protect Tones setting right up here on the options bar does a great job of keeping the hue from shifting in the area that you're enhancing. The dodge and burn tools behave like the brush tool in that you select a brush tip from the brush panel. You would typically want to use a soft round brush tip so as to feather the effect of the tool. Combining a soft round brush tip with the pressure sensitive control of a Wacom pen, you can selectively paint on exposure adjustments with the utmost precision. The dodge and burn tools are great choices for down and dirty quick fixes. For me, however, a more flexible method incorporates the use of blend modes and layer masks. The concept is similar, but with this approach, you use the brush tool to apply the lightening and darkening effect. Similar to the dodge and burn tools, a soft round brush tip and pressure-sensitive control is ideal. In this approach, pressure is used to adjust the opacity of the effect. When painting on a layer with its blend mode set to soft light or overlay, painting with a color that is lighter than 50% gray lightens the image, while painting with a color that is darker than 50% gray darkens the image. For simplicity, I paint with full white or black. To use the blend mode method, you create a new or blank layer or duplicate of the layer that you wish to enhance, and then change the layer's blend mode. My go-to blend mode for dodging and burning is soft light, as it yields a nice balance of lights and darks. For a more contrasty effect, though, I also like to use the overlay blend mode. Whichever you choose, the application is the same. Setting the brush tool so that opacity is controlled by pen pressure enables me to vary the intensity of the effect by pressing the pen tip softer or harder to the tablet. You can dodge and burn on a single layer by flipping over your foreground and background colors from white to black, or you can create separate layers, one for dodging and one for burning. More often than not, though, I dodge and burn on a single layer. If you like the idea of dodging and burning on separate layers, there's two more blend modes to consider: Screen and Multiply. Screen essentially lightens, while Multiply darkens. The use of Screen and Multiply to lighten or darken images calls for a slightly different approach than what we just discussed with soft light and overlay. Instead of working on a blank layer, you're going to want to work on a duplicate of the layer that you wish to enhance, and then change its blend mode. Changing the blend mode alone lightens or darkens the entire image, but that's not the intended effect. Instead, what we want to do is selectively apply it. To do so, we're going to add a Conceal All layer mask. Basically, we're going to fill it with black when we create it, and I'm going to do so by holding down the Option or Alt key while clicking on the new layer mask icon in the Layers panel. Now, when you paint with white on this layer mask, the effects of the blend mode are revealed. Once again, the use of a pressure-sensitive pen enables me to vary the opacity or intensity of the effect simply based on how hard I physically press my pen to the tablet. While there are certainly more ways to add contrast and visual interest to an image, these methods are tried and true in my workflow. So I encourage you to give them a try, and I'm sure that you're going to agree. There aren't a lot of frills with them, but the results are fantastic. Thanks for watching.